What's up, guys? I forgot to do the intro. Hello, my brethren. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a beautiful Sunday. We're doing a little lunch stream today. I got some 100% grass-fed, non-vaccinated, non-citric acid treated ribeye. Local ribeye, local liver, spleen, and kidney. So we're going to eat some of that for lunch today. But first, we are brought to you by Row Naturals. Whoops. Row Naturals, everybody. This is the company that I started, and it's going to be a natural body care products company. And we have 2 items so far, and we're working on getting some tallow soap. We're creating it as we speak. It's curing. Right now we have available 100% grass-fed tallow-based body and beard balm. This has beef tallow, organic, cold-pressed, unrefined coconut oil, and beeswax in it. And then this one is whipped. It's more like a cream. This one's got tallow, and it has jojoba oil, organic jojoba oil. These are all actually really cool products. I use this beard balm on my beard, and I know people that use it all over their body. And then this one people use on their skin to moisturize. I use both of them on my beard, but these have both been pretty popular. I've had a lot of really good reviews. I'm currently shipping to United States, Canada, United Kingdom, and many more countries. But this is like a really good product, handmade, homemade. We source all our ingredients. We make everything here. So, enough from our sponsors. All right, technical issues here. So, back to the meal. We're going to start out, I think, with the ribeye. Been eating a lot of fresh meat lately, and I've been having a lot of really good results from it. Of course, we're going to start off with the music. Maybe not that one, because that's more like a wedding song. But we'll start with this because it's Christmas time, everybody. Okay. But I do notice there's a big difference between fresh and frozen. I feel like it does something different for my skin, but also my energy. My energy's been crazy, especially when I work out, when I lift weights and run with this fresh meat. It's awesome. The consistency is totally different too. What's up, GBDIY, Phoenix Rising? Victoria says she had raw milk today for the first time and had diarrhea. Why did this happen? I had one glass, ate 2 next milk. Try a little bit less. Some people have to like work up to it, which means like taking like a shot glass. Try like an ounce next time and see if you have the same issues. And then slowly work your way up to a glass. I've known this to be an issue with people, and sometimes you have to, you gotta get your gut used to the milk, to the bacteria. No, I didn't cut my hair. I got it tied. I got it tied in the back. It's finally long enough to where I can tie it back, and it's not in my face, which is nice sometimes. Phoenix Rising says you've only been working out once a week. I know, it sucks. I was doing that for a while too. And it's hard to build muscle working out once a week. You can though. I built muscle working out once a week. But you build basically muscle, and it's hard to build more than that. Like, it's hard to like keep building. But you can put on muscle on a frame just by doing like a heavy workout once a week on a Sunday or something. But I had the same issue, and I started working out twice a week, and now this week I did like 3 or 4 times, and I just feel awesome, man. So I'm gonna continue doing that as much as I can. And it sucks, like sometimes I have to get off work early to come work out. Like I have to lose an hour's worth of pay if I can just to come work out, but it's worth it. Do I still eat potatoes? Yeah, I do. Right now I'm doing like maybe a couple times a week. This fresh meat's so good, man. Alright, we're gonna go for some of this liver. Take a little piece of that. It's so energizing. I've been waking up at like 2 a.m. every night with all this energy. I wonder if it's the food I'm eating. Like I just have so much energy now. But I woke up at 3:30 a.m. the other day and just got up and went to work. I was at work at like 4:30. It's crazy, man. Like I feel like I can do like 6 hours of sleep instead of 8 sometimes. I don't know what it is. If it's the fact that I'm working out more, or if it's the fresh meat. I'm also doing mouth taping at night, guys. Something that I haven't talked about yet. So I'm taping my mouth shut with this medical tape, and I feel like I'm sleeping a lot better because I found out that basically through my own diagnosis that I have sleep apnea, obstructive sleep apnea, just by the way I snore. Because my wife tells me I snore, and by the way that like the sounds that I make at night, like my breathing is getting obstructed. So, and my mom has it, and like my grandpa snored, and like we all have it. It's something to do with the way our airways developed. So I started taping my mouth shut, and I'm getting a lot better sleep. And I'm also incline sleeping. So I raised up the head of my bed about 6 or 7 inches, which was pretty easy for me to do because I'm floor sleeping. Actually, it wasn't really extremely easy. I had to put in like a piece of wood to sleep on because I was sleeping on the floor before, but now I'm sleeping on wood because like so I can incline it. Anyways, I'm incline sleeping and I'm mouth taping, and it's helping my sleep out tremendously. I feel like I have more energy. What's up, Joaquim Texiera? Do I eat raw bee bread? What is that? You mean like honeycomb? Practice mewing all day. Yeah, I practice proper tongue posture. I don't do like hard mewing or anything like that. I'm not really convinced that people over the age of like, let's say I'm like 41, I'm not convinced that at 41 I'm going to change the shape of my skull by moving my tongue around. But I think when you're younger you can definitely do that. So I don't practice hard mewing or anything like that. And I'm fine. It's not that I can still function with my sleep apnea, but I am tired in the mornings and probably a little bit more tired during the day than I should be, which is why I want to try to fix it. But I seem to be okay now. But I always practice proper tongue posture for sure. Is it true the less you eat, the longer you live? Yeah, I have heard that. There's a correlation with caloric intake and longevity of life. So the more you eat, or the less you eat, the longer you live. So it's true, but at what expense, you know? Like, I don't know what's the point in living a super long life if you're not going to be like strong. And you know, for me, I prefer to be strong and muscular, and I feel best when I'm like lifting weights, so I have to eat more food to lift weights and blah blah blah. But it is interesting, yes. Caloric intake and longevity of life is linked. Raw bee bread comes straight from the hive. It's a small circle thing. I've never even heard of that, man. That's interesting. GBDIY says, thoughts on sidereal astrology and frequency stuff like the Schumann resonance. I think astrology is really cool. It's very interesting to me. I don't really have any thoughts on it besides that because I haven't really been down that rabbit hole. That stuff is a little out there for me. I'm not saying it's like bullshit or anything, but it's a little bit out there beyond. I'm a very like logic heavy type thinker, and that stuff gets a little out there for me. It's hard for me to wrap my head around some of that stuff. And then the Schumann resonance, you'd have to remind me what that is. I have heard of it, but I find resonances and frequencies and all that, and harmony and all that stuff like really, really interesting. And obviously I believe everything's frequency and everything works on a frequency to a certain extent. So I do find that stuff like fascinating, especially when you talk about magnetic EMF, magnetic fields that are around human beings, and um, potentially human beings potentially communicating to each other through frequencies, and that's how we can communicate potential information on how to prevent diseases and things like that. Phoenix Rising says, Wes, you can also try different breathing techniques as well. Yeah, I'm interested if you guys got information on breathing techniques or anything that can help out like obstructive sleep apnea. I'm down. MR says, after watching this channel, I tried ground beef with ground beef heart raw for the first time. Put an egg yolk on it. It wasn't actually bad, but definitely a big change from cooked food. Yeah, it's huge change, dude. And yeah, I agree. It's not that bad. At first, it's kind of hard to get used to, but when you get into like the weirder organs, it gets kind of funny. Fafu says, I don't like raw egg white, only the yolk. Am I wrong for not eating the white? I eat it. I think it's a good source of nutrition. You don't have to. I don't think there's anything wrong with not eating it though. If you find it like gross or something, then don't eat it. I mean, I think a lot of the nutrition is in that cholesterol in the yolk anyway. But it only makes sense that like we would eat the whole thing, because like animals don't sort out the yolk from the white, and like if we were like indigenous people, you wouldn't have like just eaten the yolk. You would eat the whole thing. Wow, that song sucked. Vladimir says, any advice for quitting weed? Stopped drinking 2 years ago when I started carnivore, but struggling with quitting cannabis oils. You know what, man? You'll quit when you feel the time is right, you know? If you're not ready to quit weed, then you're not ready to quit weed. If you were ready to quit weed already, you would have already quit, you know? It's one of those that it's hard because it's not really that terrible. But over time, it starts to catch up with you a little bit. So, like for me, I just smoked for so long. And basically after a while, after you like get to my age, like I quit 4 years ago, so I quit when I was like 37. When you get to that age, it just doesn't really have the same effect anymore. And you're just like, you start just like realizing that it's kind of bullshit. Like you're using it for no reason. And maybe the whole time you were using it for a reason, but eventually you just have to put it away, you know, because it stops. It's a medicine, and you don't want to abuse the medicine because it'll start abusing you back. So you'll know when the time is right to quit. But like any drug, if you want to quit it, the best way to quit is either weaning off or go on like a water fast. And when you water fast, it's really easy to quit substances that I found. That's how I quit drinking coffee. Also, like making a journal is a good way to quit smoking weed. If you really want to quit, start journaling and writing down like your goals. Like I want to quit smoking weed, and then write down how much you're using every day, and then every day make a journal entry of how much you use every time you use it. And you'll start becoming more aware of your consumption. And then you can wean off that way. You can go like, today I smoked, 1 gram. And then like the next day, be like I smoked 0.9 grams. And the next day I smoked 0.8 grams, and just kind of slowly work your way down. Jan says, do I plan on selling any food? We would like to sell raw honey for sure. That's on the menu. Phoenix Rising says, breathing techniques, breath of fire, and Wim Hof method. I used to be a big mouth breather. Cool. Definitely aware of Wim Hof. I don't think I've heard of breath of fire. I have a whole book on breathing too that I haven't even read. Have I tried raw ghee? I've had ghee, but I think raw butter, just straight up raw butter is probably better. Victoria says, will raw milk get bad at room temp for a few days or a week? No. We put ours in our cupboard, actually. We're not even like refrigerating our milk anymore. And we just clabber it. It goes sour, but we like it. We like it sour. So, if you like clabbered milk, then you'll love it. But it never goes bad. It just turns into like clabbered milk. And then basically like cottage cheese. You could like strain it out and then you have cottage cheese. Phoenix Rising says dry fasting helps with addiction. Yeah, fasting helps a lot with addictions, man. Okay, gotta get back to eating here. I think I'm gonna do a little bit more ribeye and then I'll jump into this spleen. GBDIY says, weed absorbs the most heavy metals out of the soil than any other medicinal plant. What helped me quit is realizing that I can't reach my full genetic potential until stopping the intake of toxic stuff. Dude, that's actually exactly what happened to me too. So that type of information definitely helps. Is knowing that weed has like a bunch of heavy metals in it. And I think, after having like brain fog for years and stuff and smoking weed, I was like, I wonder if I'm like doing this to myself. If like I'm smoking weed and the metals are making me have brain fog, which makes you want to smoke more weed. It's just stupid. But it's a medicine, man. Don't let them fool you. These aren't like recreational drugs. I don't believe anything is really a recreational drug. Everything is here for medicine. L says raw milk in plastic isn't good for room temp. Yeah, you don't want to put it in plastic, put it in glass. In plastic, it will turn to cheese too. I mean, it doesn't matter what you put it in, but definitely don't put it in plastic. YouTube 19 or whatever says, I failed my CPA exam on Friday and have a gut-wrenching low feeling inside. Any tips to move on? Dude, just take it again. It's okay. Everybody fails, man. Just study harder. It's nobody's fault but your own. Just accept it and study harder and take it again. Fafu says goat milk versus cow milk, which is better? It just depends. I don't think anyone's necessarily better. I think goat milk has more fat. I think goat milk is also naturally homogenized, so the fat doesn't separate. Goat milk is more energizing. So if you're like a low energy person, goat milk would be better. If you're a high energy person, cow milk would be better. Because cow milk is more sedating. Goat milk is A2, A2. Cow milk is generally A2, A1, sometimes A2, A2. If you pay attention to that stuff. I've never had any issues with the A2, A1 milk. Logan says, I noticed that if I eat too much... Yeah, I'll start this over here. Logan said, I noticed that I've ate too much raw connective tissue. It messes up my digestion. It doesn't seem to digest at all. Thoughts on this? What do you mean by connective tissue? Like, what do you, like eating like tendons and stuff? I don't really eat that stuff. I give that stuff to my dogs. If it messes up your digestion, then maybe you shouldn't eat it. But I'm not really sure on connective tissue because I haven't eaten a whole lot of that. If you're talking about like tendons. GBDIY says plastic lid or metal lid for fermenting meat for high meat. I do plastic. I've heard that you don't want metal interacting with the fermentation process, so I use plastic. If you get raw milk in plastic, just put it in glass. We get, unfortunately, organic raw Jersey Guernsey milk in a 5-gallon bucket and in a plastic bag. That's how we get our raw milk, which sucks because it's the best milk in the world, but it's in plastic. But as soon as we get home, we pour it in glass. And don't see any issues. Federico says wild game versus grass-fed. I think they're both really good. They're pretty much both up there as far as nutrition wise and all that. Bison's great. I love bison. Elk is amazing. Dima Dudka says, any advice for seborrhea? Seborrhea. You mean like seborrheic dermatitis? I actually had that over 10 years ago. And I thought it was something to do with my diet, probably like gluten related or something. Are you eating bread? Are you eating gluten? Like, are you eating like, what's your diet like? Because it could be some kind of detoxification from something you're eating. Especially bread. All right, I think it's time. What do you guys want me to eat next? The spleen or the kidney? This is the spleen. This is one of the gnarliest looking organs. It basically tastes like blood because it stores blood for emergencies. That's what the spleen does. It also, I think, helps repair red blood cells and it produces white blood cells. This is a crazy nutritious organ right here that a lot of people miss. The spleen is full of cholesterol, full of B vitamins, iron. It's such a healthy organ. And it's freaking huge. The spleen is like this long. Like, they give me the whole spleen. Yeah, a lot of people miss the spleen, man. I had to specifically ask for it, and they found it. The butchers aren't, I don't think, used to cutting that out, though. Let's see. Logan says, thanks for the insight. It was a new ground beef source that has a lot of connective tissue in it. Oh, interesting. Okay, like hard, like gristly stuff inside the ground beef. Yeah. That's interesting, man. I mean, your stomach acid should be strong enough to digest that. Brain Cells says, did you detox from your face or other parts of your body? Yeah, I detoxed all over the place, man. If you're talking about like before I started this diet, like I had every skin problem you could possibly imagine. I've had terrible acne. I still got scars all over my face from acne. I had weeping sores all over my scalp. I've had bumps all over my body, rashes all over my body, dude. I've had hives. I've broken out in hives. I've had almost like anaphylactic shock where I had to go to the emergency room and get a shot because I was like swelling up. Like I've had all sorts of crazy Crazy problems, man. Which is why I took this to the extreme and decided to fix all my issues with raw meat. But I've detoxed out of every skin part of my body. Nordic Forts says male versus female meats. I've never even had anybody ask me that before. That's interesting, dude. Never even thought about that. I don't know, man. I'd have to look into that. Well, we had one person answer kidney, so we'll eat the kidney. This here is a kidney. Looks a lot like liver. Very similar. There's still a little bit of suet right there. You can see that little white piece. That's kidney fat. That is called suet. It's a dry fat that surrounds the kidneys. Kidney's got a smell to it that basically smells like pee. And it's got a real funky flavor. Some people don't like, but I like it. I think I've gotten used to it. Very strong flavor kidney has. Dima says, follow carnivore, totally carnivore, but I can't cure my seborrhea. Should I try raw meat? I would. What are you using for like soaps and shampoos? Have you cut all that stuff out yet? Do I have any tips for premature hair loss? The only thing I can tell you is stop using shampoo. Other than that, I don't know, man. Hair loss is such a mystery. Stop using shampoo and stop stressing out. That's the only two things that I know that contribute to hair loss for sure. Nordic Force says thoughts on 432 hertz music. Yeah, I do like the idea of 432. When I play piano, I tune my piano, my keyboard to 432. So I think it's interesting. I don't really know if there's any truth to it. How would you know? You know? It's cool though. How long did my detox last? Well, I detoxed really hard and bad like before I got on this diet. I was like constantly detoxing, dude. Skin problems, and I was sick all the time. Like I felt like every other weekend I had like a cold or something. It was weird. When I got on this diet though, I had like two like a really bad cold and like a really bad flu. And then other than that, like my detoxes have been almost unnoticeable. Like very subtle. I might just be like extra tired or something one day, or but most of the time, like I don't have any skin problems. I'm not detoxing out of my skin. I have a little bit of congestion in the mornings. Sometimes it's in my lungs too. I don't know if that has something to do with the way I'm sleeping, but I'm like sometimes I cough stuff up in the mornings. I don't know if that's lung detox from cannabis, but I wasn't one of those guys that like got on this diet and I was like sick for like a month because I was like detoxing so hard. That just wasn't me. Fishing with Juniper says, Wes, is it hard to maintain your long hair and beard? Not really, to be honest with you, man, because I don't even cut my beard at all. I don't even trim it. So I don't do anything with it, but I use my beard wax in the mornings. I brush it. I have a brush that I brush it all out, and then I put my beard wax on it, and I shape it, and then I use my beard brush, and I comb it down, and that's really all I do in the mornings. And then for my hair, I just kind of put some water on it, and I just kind of part it both to the sides. But now that my hair is long enough to tie up, I can just tie my hair up, which is cool. Frage says thoughts on Ray Peat and his theory on the importance of having a 2-to-1 calcium phosphorus ratio. Beef has lots of phosphorus. I don't know. He may be right. He may be wrong. I don't know. I haven't really looked into his stuff because he's, to be honest with you, like he's a little too in the weeds for me. I don't think we were meant to have to measure ratios of foods and things like that. I think that if you just, maybe that's good for people to know at the beginning of their health journeys, like what ratios of foods I should be eating. You can start out like that, but after a while, you just intuitively eat. That's the way to eat, in my opinion. So, you know, it's whenever people make claims like that, you know, 2-to-1 calcium phosphorus ratio, I'd be like, how did you find that out? Were you in a laboratory? Because laboratories can't recreate the results of things that happen inside people's bodies. Like, bodies and laboratories are two different things. So how would you know that we need 2-to-1 calcium phosphorus? Are you inside people's bodies measuring that? I'm really skeptical of like scientists, man. But I just say intuitively eat. GBDIY says, are organs more fatty or muscle? There's a lot of fat in organs, dude. A lot of cholesterol, for sure. I don't think they would have necessarily muscle, but there's definitely some protein there too, though. What are all the drinks and liquids I consume daily? In the morning, I drink clabbered milk. So I fill up a mason jar, a quart mason jar about that high. So I drink probably 1/4 of a quart of clabbered milk in the morning. I sip it. And then I drink a little bit of water, Mountain Valley spring water. I might drink, I don't know, 18 ounces of water in a day. Have I heard of Anthony Chaffee, MD? I have heard of him. Yes. Okay. I'm going to finish this kidney, and then I'm going to eat the spleen, which is, it's a little different. Kidney's got an interesting smell. This is a beautiful song. I learned this one on piano. Someday I'll play piano for you guys. I'll eat some raw meats and play some songs. What do I think of live rosin? You mean like cannabis rosin or what? What's up, Flow and Rest? Hello, Sarah at Hold the Line Homestead. Hold the line. I recognize you, Sarah, from your little doggy picture. Long time listener. How many eggs are you today? 4. 4 for breakfast. 4 raw eggs. Sometimes I'll do 5, but lately I've been doing 4. Alright, spleen time. Enough messing around here. You guys ready for a little blood cake? That's what it looks like. It doesn't look like it's just like straight up blood. And that's exactly what it tastes like, man. This is fresh, never frozen spleen. I believe it was probably slaughtered almost a week ago, so. I may or may not gag. It's not bad. That was better than yesterday. You know, anytime you eat like a new organ, the first time you eat it, it's crazy. Like you want to gag so hard. But like the second day you eat it, if it's the same one, it's not even nearly as bad. It's weird. AD says, hi, I'm 25. Should I start this raw diet or not? I'm worried if I have a crazy detox that I can't handle. Oh, you're fine, dude. Like, I wouldn't recommend like a 75-year-old person to start the primal diet. That's probably not a good idea after you've been building up toxicity for 75 years. But 25, you're fine, dude. I started this diet at 35. And I had like so much toxic shit in my body, man. 35 years worth of shit. Of junk food and drugs and alcohol and just all sorts of shit, man. And now I'm fine. Do I ever get the flu? Last time I got the flu was not this April, but last April. So coming up in 4 months, it'll be 2 years ago was the last time I got a flu. It was pretty bad. It wiped me out for like a week. And then before that, it was like 3 years. So it seems to be like every 3 years or so, I get like a flu. Sarah says she has a flock of chickens now. That's awesome. Are you doing eggs? Just eggs, or are they meat birds too? What's the best state to live in if the power grid were to go down? Anywhere where you got a lot of rednecks. Let's put it that way. A lot of country boys. That's who you want to be around. Down south, Midwest, anywhere like that. Kai Salis, what's up? Says, does spleen have a strong iron taste like beef liver does? And let me taste it again, I'll tell you. I just ate a bunch of kidney, liver, and spleen, so like, it's hard for me to tell. I'm a bit oversaturated with iron at this point. Man, this stuff is interesting. It's really cool looking at like organs for the first time. It's like these little white things in there. This is a lot more mild than I remember yesterday. Yeah, it's definitely iron. It's like blood, dude. Like spleen tastes like blood. If you've ever had blood, that's exactly what it tastes like. So yeah, I'd say that's irony. Nordic Ford says, how much percentage of cattle in the U.S. are unhealthy and corn-fed? If a European wants to move there, how concerned should he be? A huge percentage, dude. Huge percentage. But I think there's been a huge resurgence in grass-fed beef farmers in the last like 25 years. So that means that there's a lot of grass-fed farmers as well. Like I'm surrounded by tons of grass-fed ranchers because there's such a huge demand for it now. So you can find them anywhere. Like in the United States, we have tons of factory farms, but we also have tons of grass-fed farms. But you're gonna want to be like in the Midwest probably to reap those benefits because we have like the best grasslands and stuff. Can you make ice cream without the machine? Yeah. I think I know some people that will Just put all the ingredients in a jar and shake it up, and then throw it in the freezer. I don't know if it exactly turns out just like ice cream. I've never done it, but I've heard of people doing that. And you don't even have to make ice cream, dude. Like, to be honest with you, man, I actually prefer just like mixing up the ingredients and then drinking it like a shake. But ice cream is fun because you can store it for later. GBDIY says, what are the hardest to digest foods for you? For me, it's cheese. I can digest. I've never had an issue digesting food, but for me, it's probably. It seems like it's always been like bread, but that might be like the chemicals in the bread, you know. But hardest to digest foods. Sometimes for me, it seems like it's milk, you know. Like sometimes when I drink my milk or my clabber in the morning, like I'll just be like burping for like a couple hours. So sometimes it's milk, you know, but I still drink it. But for the most part, I don't have any issues digesting food. If you're talking about food in general, like cooked food, like cured bacon and stuff like that, is hard for me to digest, like all that seasoning and stuff. Do I ever use salt or season my meat? No. Sometimes I make ceviches, but that's not necessarily a salt or season. But I don't usually use salt or seasoning. Sarah says, I have 11 dual purpose for eggs. Last summer I raised and harvested 14 Cornish cross for me. That's awesome. I'm super jealous. I want chickens bad. Keith Cooter says, live stream on Sunday, filling the Gatis void. Why I say that? Does he stream on Sundays? Is that what he does? Nordic Force says, in Europe, grass-fed and healthy gets the biomark as biological. That's cool. How long does raw milk at room temp take to turn into cheese? Well, it'll turn into cottage cheese, like 3-4 days maybe. Depends on how warm your house is. But actual cheese, probably longer. But it turns into basically like curds and whey, like cheese curds and whey after like, for us, it's like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days. It's hard to tell with what we're doing because I put it on a heat mat, like a seedling heat mat. So it warms it up, it speeds up the process. Within a week though, you can get cottage cheese. Balls Deep Action says, do you ever feel sluggish or sleepy after your meal? Yes, sometimes. Sometimes after lunch, I like to take a little nap. Do I ever think about what order in which I eat my food and drinks? Well, I naturally like don't drink any liquids with my food anymore, so that's not necessarily what order, but I don't do them together. But no, I don't really like. I mean, yeah, I guess I do to a certain point. Like, kind of have to. Like, in the morning, I don't eat meat first and then drink my milk and eggs. Like, I always do my eggs first, and then I drink my clabber. And then like an hour or two later, I'll eat my raw meat. So I've been eating like a little bit of raw meat at like 9 in the morning. So I eat like half my lunch at 9 in the morning and the other half now. And I feel great eating raw meat like at 9 in the morning. That might be another reason I have energy lately. But for the most part, I mean, I do think about what order in which I eat my food and drinks, and it's not necessarily what order, like while I'm eating it, It's more of like my order throughout the day. Because like I don't like cheese during the day because it bogs me down. So I usually do like raw cheese at night, which is when I crave cheese a lot. And I like doing carbs at night. I don't do carbs during the day. So if I eat like a potato, it's always for dinner. It's never for lunch or breakfast or anything like that. Raw milk does not have an expiration date, man. No. And you can turn it into cheese and all sorts of fun stuff. Yogurt. I did not cut my hair, no. It's just tied up. I got it tied up. It's finally long enough to where I can tie it up. Nordic Fort says, milk can be indeed hard to digest at times. I had bad constipations drinking fridge cold milk fast. My milk is never, can't say never. Lately, it's always been room temp. It's usually always room temp. But yeah, that's true. You know, maybe it was because I was pouring it out of the fridge and then I didn't let it warm up enough. Because I never drink it straight out of the fridge. I can't say never. Sometimes I'll have a small glass at night and it's kind of cold. But I don't know what it is with milk. Like I tend to go on like cycles with milk where I'll drink it a lot and then I'll go off of it. Because I just feel like lately, like I'll really love drinking the clabber in the morning and then I'll drink it every single day for like a couple weeks, 3 weeks. And then I just like, now it takes me forever to drink it. Like it's like my body doesn't want it. So that's when I start like, I start stopping milk for a while. Then I'll go back to it. What scissors do I use? I don't sharpen them now, but these are, I think these are just OXO, OXO kitchen shears. Take apart to clean. Stainless steel. They're sweet scissors. We got a couple pairs. They're very good to have around. Milk with blood is the best drink ever. It is pretty good. I've had that. Just like the Maasai. Have I had liver blended with milk? I'm not sure if I've actually tried that. I know people do like to blend up like organs and stuff inside of their smoothies and things like that, but I've never actually personally done that. I am not a big blended food guy. I like to keep all my stuff separate. I don't like to blend flavors together. Except for my wife got me into these ceviches, which are actually pretty good, but to be honest with you, after I have like a ceviche, I don't want another one for like a week. It's just too much flavor going on. Yeah, a lot of people have drank blood throughout history. It's not a bad thing, man. It's a nutritious food. You know? I don't know why it's linked with occult use and Satanism and weird stuff. Like it's a food. Do I eat venison meat? I'm not a big venison meat guy, to be honest with you. So no, not really. I'm going to plug my website one more time, guys. If you guys want to get anybody a Christmas present this year, now is the time. Row Naturals, which is my company that I started. We have grass-fed tallow-based body and beard balm and whipped tallow-based skin cream. Great gifts for anybody with dry skin, eczema, psoriasis. It's good for acne. I know people that have their acne goes away when they use this stuff. Wrinkles. It's good for moisturizing your hair and beard. It's good for baby skin care. It's got all these vitamins in it from the fat. It's great stuff. These are ancient skincare products that humankind has used for thousands of years. So we all make them here. It's all with our local 100% grass-fed beef fat that we use. It's the best skin moisturizer on the planet. So if you guys want to get anybody a Christmas gift and support my channel, these are like priced crazy cheap, 15 bucks and 16 bucks. You're not going to find it cheaper like anywhere. So it's on sale till the end of the year, and it'll probably go up. So there you go. All right. GBDIY says, can spiritual women put curses on you? I don't know about that. Hexes? I don't know about that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think curses generally come through like bloodlines, like generational spiritual curses, not necessarily through the blood, but through the spirit. So technically your mother could, or your grandmother. Sarah says, wife, that's cool. When did you get married? I got married in April this year, April 1st. Nordic Forts says, I also don't like mixing and blending foods together. The egg yolk works with everything. Though egg yolk works with everything. Yeah, I had some of that tartare. I actually, embarrassingly, the first time I ever had steak tartare was like a month ago. I've been a raw meat eater for like 5 years and I never had tartare. Because I don't like mixing stuff together. I'm like, just give me the beef and I'll just eat the beef by itself and then eat the egg yolks by themselves. But, yeah, I'm not a big mixer blender guy. Like when I was a kid, I didn't even like my food touching. GBDIY says, rank these meats: pork, lamb, beef, seafood, chicken. Well, beef is number one, obviously. I would say lamb is 2, chicken is 3, seafood is 4, pork is 5. That's just my personal opinion. Vladimir says, does the tallow bomb or cream have a smell? No, it really doesn't. I mean, everything has a smell, but it's like super, super subtle. You can like barely smell it. It's basically odorless. And I haven't had anybody complain about the odor or anything. My wife is like super sensitive to like odors and smells, and she rubs it all over her body. So yeah, it's basically odorless. We're gonna come up with some infused, like lavender or calendula infused balms here and creams pretty soon that are gonna have like a little bit of a scent to it. But right now we're just doing odorless, least amount of ingredients as possible. GBDIY says pork and lamb is my favorite. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not big on the lamb and the veal because I feel like you get more nutrition from an aged animal. It gives them more time to accumulate nutrients. But it is tasty. I do like pork as well. I like beef so much, and I have such a good supplier of beef that I just eat beef. But the other thing I like about beef is that it's 100% grass-fed, and you can't get that from pork because they're not. They eat like all sorts of different types of stuff. I like things very simple. Give me an animal that only ate grass, and I'll just eat the thing raw. Can anybody name this composer that made this song? Oh man, that was a good lunch. Well, we hit about an hour, and we're gonna wrap it up here in the next couple minutes. So, if you guys got any final thoughts, final questions, go ahead and shoot them over. Jay Young Gun says, "Do you dry age any of your raw meat?" No, I built a dry ager a few years ago, and I dry aged a bunch of meat, and you lose so much moisture in it, and it's just like super dry, and I don't like that. I love the taste of it. There may be some parts of it that are actually good for you because you're propagating bacteria. But I aborted the dry aging freezer, and I just freeze it all now because I like retaining some of the moisture in there. GBDIY says, "Do you think the difference between grass-fed and grain-fed is placebo?" No, I don't. No, there's too much energy that, if you believe in frequency and vibration and all that stuff, that the frequency of the animal is going to get stored inside of its body, and when you eat that energy transfers over to you. So that's not placebo. I've heard of people that they get depressed when they eat factory farm meat. So they're actually taking on the sadness of the animal, because it's not a good life, man. You know, all that energy goes somewhere. You know. So I feel great when I eat grass-fed meat. I haven't done a proper experiment to where if I go eat a bunch of grain-fed meat to see how I feel, but I bet I would feel like shit. I do eat grain-fed steaks every once in a while when we go out to restaurants, and I don't feel nearly as good as when I eat a raw grass-fed. It's like way different. Like it just lowers my vibrations. Bach, you are correct. Nordic Forts. Joaquin Sexera says, "Everything all right?" Yeah, everything's okay, man. Everything is all good. GBDIY says the frequency only changes when the meat gets heated up, though. I don't know about that. Maybe. Keith says, "What do you think of Aujana's claiming frozen meat causes mange?" You're not looking so good. Yeah, I don't know about that, to be honest with you, because I've eaten 75% frozen meat over the last 5 years, and I obviously don't have mange. Obviously, my skin is fine. So I don't know, man. Again, he did those experiments on animals, so maybe for animals it's different. I don't really get it, but the thing he did with the experiment though is he reversed the mange with raw butter, I believe. So I'm not really a good experiment for that because I've eaten a lot of frozen meat, but I've also eaten a lot of fresh raw foods with the frozen meat, right? So the fresh raw butter that I've eaten and the fresh raw milk and all that stuff could offset any of the issues that I had with the frozen meat. So I don't know. I can't tell you, to be honest, man. But I do know that when I get fresh, never frozen food, there's a whole different vibration that comes with the food. I can't explain it, but I get giddy when I get my hands on 90 pounds or I get about 50 pounds at a time. 50 frozen, 50 fresh. But when I get my hands on that fresh, never frozen meat, man, it's almost like the feeling you get when you're eating high meat or something. There's a whole different energy with fresh food. Who's gonna win the Super Bowl? I don't know, dude. I actually don't watch football at all. Do I think the Earth is flat? I'm not really sure if it's flat or round. I'm one of those guys that's not afraid to say I don't know. I have no idea. But if I had to put my money on it, I would say it's round. It just makes more sense. But I've seen evidence that it's flat too, so I'm not 100% convinced. Joaquim says, I put in vacuum my frozen meat. Say that one more time? I don't really understand what you mean. You put in a vacuum? You put your frozen meat in a vacuum? GBDIY says, according to Darko Velsek, freezing the meat doesn't change the frequency. Well, what about the structured water, though? Freezing the meat obviously changes the crystalline structure of the water. So, and a lot of the energy and memory is stored inside of water. You know, if you follow Masaru Emoto and Veda Austin on Instagram, memories and ideas are stored inside the water. So, structured water and fresh meat is another big benefit. Oh, Joaquim says, plastic vacuum machine after freezing the meat still feels like fresh. Oh, for sure, yeah. We get all of our frozen meat is always vacuumed, vacuum sealed, and yeah, vacuum sealing is super legit, for sure. GBDIY says it would keep the frequency locked in if frozen. Then by that idea. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to. I mean, are you talking about frequency, or are we talking about like? Frequency, I guess, is different than structured water, but I do know that freezing water alters the structure of it. So if it alters the structure of it, if it like damages the structure of it, then it's going to damage the frequency somehow, right? Sarah says, whatever happened to that Haleman guy from Australia? That's funny. I was just thinking about that dude like a week ago. I was just thinking about how like it was ridiculous. Like I used to go on that guy's channel, like his live streams, and he'd be like, "Hey, it's the natural human diet. What's up, man?" And like I used to watch his streams, and then he turned out to be like he's turned out kind of weird, dude. I don't know. I hope he's doing well. I hope he's doing well. But I have not heard from him in a long time. Thoughts on full moon energy? Oh yeah. I have insane full moon energy, dude. That's definitely... I've known that for like the last 10 years, at least. Full moon wires me up like crazy. Like my wife can always tell when the full moon's coming just by like my energy and my actions. And what's funny is that a lot of women's cycles, including my wife's, they sync up with the moon as well. So like they'll be actually like ovulating during full moons. That's how my wife's was. So it's really interesting that like she would ovulate during the full moon, and that's also when my energy is at the highest. So it's like it's conducive to procreation. Local Music Addict says, thoughts on parasites and pathogens. I do not subscribe to germ theory. I don't believe parasites and pathogens are what cause disease. I believe they are caused by toxicity in our environment or terrain. I think parasites and pathogens, as they call them, are there to actually help get rid of toxicity. They feed on toxicity. GBDIY says, that's amazing. I know it's amazing, dude. Like, I never knew that about women. I never knew that their menstrual cycles sync with the moon. Did you guys know that? It's unreal. Not a big opera guy. You know? I've never been an opera dude. Next. We'll go next on that one. Thoughts on Christian music? Like Christian rap, is it healthy to listen to? If you like terrible music, if you want to gouge your eardrums out. I mean, if you want to listen to Christian music, like listen to Bach. I don't know if he was Christian, but I know he believed in God, and he created his music for God. So that music has logos. But like modern Christian music, like I'm not a big fan. It's not the best. All right, about to roll out, guys. That was a good action-packed Q&A hangout. Thanks for showing up, everybody, and I will. I'll try to keep doing these like once a week. So, y'all have yourself a good rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys later.